Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabriel, coming at you straight from Queens, New York. And today we are going to talk about something that has been on my mind for the last couple of weeks, I would say. It's been a while since I put a recording up talking about stuff that I want to talk about, but that's just because I haven't really decided on what I wanted to talk about. But today I kind of have a subject in mind. So what I want to talk about is in connection to the riots at the Capitol, but it's more so the aftermath and how censorship is being used by those in power. Now, what I mean is that we can see what happened at the Capitol. You know, it was a riot. It was criminal behavior, and people should be held accountable as such. That's not even the interesting part. I mean, tragedies did occur. People did lose their lives. This is all very sad. You know, and what we saw as a reaction was the left and the right both coming out in complete condemnation of this type of violence and the actions of these people. What struck me as unique was the fact that the same type of riotous behavior was going on all throughout the last 6 months of the year 2020. And both sides did not come out as strongly against this type of riotous behavior. The right did come out somewhat against it. There were some popular people amongst the right wing that did come out against it. Nobody on the left, for the 9 out of 10 or 95% even of people on the left did not come out against this type of riotous, violent, destructive behavior. What we saw instead was an attempt, and a continued attempt till this day, by the left to justify the riotous behavior that we saw in the last half of the year 2020. With popular excuses being things like, it's okay that they were rioting because it's reparations, according to Black Lives Matter's leaders. It's okay that they're rioting because they don't feel heard. It's okay that they're rioting because they're fighting for their lives. It's okay that they're rioting because the system is against them. What's funny to me is that the people that make these arguments are woefully blind, unaware, or maybe are just ignoring the fact that every single one of those reasonings can be used to excuse and justify the riots at the Capitol. Yes, those people that were rioting did feel like they're not being heard. They did feel like the system was against them. They did feel like they were fighting for their lives. They did feel that way. But the people on the left don't want to apply that same logic that they applied to the rioters on their side to now these rioters that are not on their side. Because, see, the only difference between the riots is the political ideology behind the two. One of them was a left-wing riot, or left-wing riots, and this one was a right-wing riot. I can't even remember the last time that the right wing rioted. And it's no surprise that this type of hypocritical behavior comes from the left. I mean, in 2016, when Trump got elected, there were riots on the streets of DC in protest of Trump's election. And again, the same excuses. They don't feel heard. They feel the system is against them. They're rioting in defense of their lives. Okay? It's always been defended and excused as long as it's coming from the correct political ideology. I myself have always condemned it. I myself have no issue condemning the riot that happened at the Capitol. My only question is, if you did not condemn the left-wing riots of 2020, you have no moral ground to stand on to condemn the riot at the Capitol. You have completely lost that agency. And what's funny, and I'm going to bring it back to the beginning of the video, is the reaction that the left has had to the right-wing riot, and how they now want to behave or treat people on the right. Their answer is censorship. Their answer, and it's not censorship as in you need to say something different. It's censorship as in you are not allowed to speak. This is the worst type of censorship because it is silencing the opposition. There is something to be said about history when it comes to authoritarian and totalitarian states. The one common thread is that the totalitarianism didn't come from top down, right? It wasn't the state that made itself an authoritarian state or a totalitarian state, a dictatorship, right? It was from the bottom up. Authoritarianism starts with the people. It starts at home. So at home, you have people censoring each other, right? Brother against brother, mother against daughter, husband against wife. You have this idea that if somebody doesn't say the right things, then they shouldn't say anything at all. That's where it begins, right? It's this idea that don't say certain taboo subjects. Yeah, don't say that out loud. And that trickles up. It doesn't trickle down, right? It starts in our communities. It starts with the society. Authoritarianism starts with the people, and it works its way up into institutions, and eventually into the government, and eventually into the leadership. And that is what we're seeing. That's what we saw with the 2020 elections. We saw the trickle up of authoritarianism from the people into the state. It's worrying that so many people can assume benevolent intent on their part, but do nothing but assume malevolent intent on the part of their opposition. And to be quite honest, it is a cultural problem. Like I said, it trickles up from the people into the state. So unless the United States is able to, because it is a political issue, but it is more so a personal cultural issue, right? Like I said, it starts at the home. So unless the United States culture, its people, start to once again believe in the virtue of freedom of speech, there is no future where freedom can reign supreme without the people believing in that. it goes down to one thing, really. It's one ideological philosophy. When it comes to freedom of speech, what do you do with a truth teller? You let him speak so that he may reveal the truth. And so, what do you do with a liar? See, and this right here is the answer to that question determines what side you're on, right? Because what do you do with a liar? If you say you imprison him, if you say you shut him up, if you say you silence him, you're on the wrong side. Because what you do with a liar is that you let them speak so that they may reveal themselves. Because it doesn't matter what the ideology is. The correct answer in both circumstances is to let them speak. What does that mean? That means allow them access to platforms. That is exactly what that means. Censoring somebody, telling somebody that they cannot speak. And this is true on the highest of political scales when it comes to Trump being banned from this place or that place. To a family, to a brother and a sister not allowing each other to speak for whatever reason. Let people speak, whether you agree or disagree, whether they are a truth teller or a liar, whether they are a fool or the Messiah. Let them speak. Anything less is not only hypocritical, but it is a sin in the truest sense of that word. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.